On this St. Patrick's Day, as millions of Americans celebrate their Irish heritage, recent events remind us that the Irish were among the first immigrants to be targeted in deportation crackdowns.
In the mid-1800s, New York and Massachusetts enforced policies to have Irish immigrants rounded up and deported.
The American Civil Liberties Union didn't exist then, but if it had, it may have taken the legal position it is taking now, suing the Trump administration to stop what it considers to be the illegal deportation over the weekend of more than 200 migrants to El Salvador.
Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. The American media is completely lost. They don't know what to do. If Donald Trump is for it, they are against it. And that includes when you're deporting villains, gangsters, bad guys. They're against it. When you're deporting people who are supporting Hezbollah, they're against it. They cannot help themselves, and they do not see how ridiculous they look.
Is a constitutional crisis now officially upon us? From the invocation of an 18th century law that was the basis for some of the darkest chapters in America's history, things like the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, now being used to deport hundreds of people, to the sudden removal of an immigrant doctor here legally, both moves seemingly, from what we know at this hour, at the time in open defiance of court orders. A series of developments over the last 48 hours point to a Trump administration acting as though it is now unencumbered by the law and things like court rulings. In just an hour from right now, federal judge James Boasberg will hold a hearing on whether the Trump administration violated his ruling when it deported hundreds of Venezuelan migrants to a prison camp in El Salvador. They were deported after Donald Trump invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act on Saturday afternoon. Of that, NPR reports this, quote, "The Alien Enemies Act allows an expedited removal process, which means those subject to the president's declaration would not go through the normal immigration proceedings in court or be able to claim asylum. The proclamation also leaves no time to contest the government's claims that people are members of a criminal gang. The executive order invoking the law was challenged in court immediately, and the judge was crystal clear in his order putting a stop to the deportations under the Alien Enemies Act."
This is an 80-20 issue. They are losing, and they know it. And you know who else knows it? Donald Trump. Because not only is he flying people out on planes and keeping villains from coming back into the country, he is now allowing illegals to self-deport themselves.
People in our country illegally can self-deport the easy way, or they can get deported the hard way, and that's not pleasant. The Biden administration exploited the CBP-1 app to allow more than 1 million aliens to illegally enter the United States. Now my administration is launching the CBP Home app to give people in our country illegally an easy way to leave now and self-deport voluntarily. If they do, they could potentially have the opportunity to return legally at some point in the future. But if they do not avail themselves of this opportunity, then they will be found, they will be deported, and they will never be admitted again to the United States, ever again. You're never coming in. Using the CBP Home app to leave the United States voluntarily is the safest option for illegal aliens and our law enforcement. It also saves the U.S. taxpayer dollars and valuable CBP and ICE resources, and all of those resources are necessary to focus on dangerous criminal aliens, and that's what we're focused on. The CBP Home app is now available free across all mobile app stores, and I encourage those who have violated our laws to use this option today. Do it right and come back into our country. Do it wrong and you'll never be back again.
The media and their Democrats love protecting bad guys, be it a kid in Colombia who loves Hamas, terrorists in Gaza, or anyone else in this country who is doing something wrong and detrimental to the country. The American media and their Democrats will support it. Donald Trump knows this, and he is playing them, and this is why they will continue to lose.
Every year in Alabama, we miss out on between $65 and $90 million in tax revenue by not legalizing sports betting here in our state. money that can be used to improve our roads and bridges, or elevate our school systems and support our first responders. Contact your legislator to ensure sports betting is legalized in Alabama. Learn more at betonalabama.com.